You're listening to Entrepreneur's Enigma, a podcast about the ups and downs of the entrepreneurial journey. Every week, your host Seth Goldstein interviews entrepreneurs from all walks of life about their entrepreneurial journeys. From store owners to Fortune 500 CEOs, we all have stories to tell. So sit back and join us for the next 20 or so minutes while we explore the entrepreneurial world. Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of the Entrepreneur's Enigma podcast. I am, as always, your host, Seth with Goldstein Media and Podcast Mastery. Today I have Colin Hirdman, who hails from the Twin Cities. Is what they call it, right? The Twin Cities?
Yep, the Twin Cities. Yeah, St. Paul, Minneapolis.
I got it right. Thank
Nicely
God.
done.
As it was coming out of my mouth, I was like, oh, please say this is correct.
you were
from
right
Minneapolis.
On. You got
exactly.
it, yeah.
And you can tell he has a little bit of a Minneapolis accent. So a little bit of Bobby's World in there from back in our day.
Yeah,
right?
not as bad as Fargo. Yeah. But,
Fargo. Yeah. Whoa. That's North Dakota. Right?
Yeah. Yep. That's North Dakota.
North Dakota, don't you know? Don't you know? Don't you know?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. So, Colin started his first company a week after graduating from college. So You knew what you were going to do. He has been an entrepreneur ever since. He's building businesses through Monkey Island Ventures. Now, there's a story behind the Monkey Island Ventures, which we'll get to in a second.
Yeah.
Which he co-founded with two of his best friends. Monkey Island Ventures is named after the park they played at since they were 5 years old.
Correct.
I always wondered that because it was Monkey Island. Wasn't that an old Commodore 64 game where you was
there was an old Lucasfilm game called Monkey Island. Yep.
Monkey Island, exactly. So I thought that's where it was. But this is a little more touching. So
right.
Exactly. This is a little more less geeky, more like
in the real world. Yep, an actual park.
World.
Yep.
Do you still go to the Monkey Island and swing on the swings?
I did when I was there with my kids and with my niece and nephew, but not so much anymore. Although my parents still live in the same house, so they're like a block away. So I drive by that.
I can visit every once in a while and say this is where it all started.
Yep.
So over the years, the trio have built a dozen software as a service businesses and want to help create as many successful entrepreneurs as they can by sharing what they know. Colin is now focused on their newest business, Rainmaker. He helps people in sales roles build their network, leads, and sales through LinkedIn and turn LinkedIn into their favorite sales tool. So how's it going, Colin? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Yeah, really excited to be here. So thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. So you're making it rain money on LinkedIn.
That was the name I came up with. Yeah, early last year. So as you said, I have two business partners, Josh and Zach. We've all known each other since we were about 5. And Monkey Island Ventures is our holding company, and underneath that we have Agurian, our digital marketing company, Cloudburst, our software development company. We have about 40 employees between those two. And then Rainmaker is what I started early last year.
Because why not? As if you weren't busy enough.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I'd been doing a lot of growth hacking on LinkedIn over the last 6-7 years. And I'm like, you know what? I bet there's lots of other businesses that could benefit from kind of what I've figured out. So I love sharing the process and really helping other entrepreneurs, founders, and anybody that sits in the sales and marketing seat grow their business through LinkedIn.
So is Rainmaker a software or is it more of a coaching thing?
It's both. So I set it up as like a white glove SaaS. So my clients work directly with me, and then the software and process happens on the back end.
Okay, so it's a little bit of a hybrid because it's more of a when I was looking at it, it looks like more of a knowledge play because it's like you need Colin to really make sense of it all. So it's kind of cool.
To a certain degree, that's true. Like, some of the things we'll probably discuss on the podcast today, people can go and do that manually if they want. They can go and do it. But it takes time and it takes discipline. But the results are there. Like, it will happen if you do the things that I talk about. Like, you will get results from doing it.
That's awesome. And so So how many companies have you? You said a dozen companies
Yeah.
since
So
you graduated. So
those
what
two.
other ones did you do?
Yeah, I mean, no, those are those two service-based companies are the main things that we do, and then Rainmaker. We've stood up SaaS products in the past with varying levels of success, and
Yeah, of
so yeah,
course. Some
we
things
love
fail, some things don't.
technology
Yeah,
and entrepreneurship, and that's kind of how we've leaned in.
and it's kind of fun doing it with your best friends.
Yeah, super lucky to have them as my business partners. Again, we've been in business since 2007. We've always put friendship and family before business and before money, and we even came up with the 5 F's, which are freedom, finances, friendship, family, and fun. So
Ooh, I like that.
those are kind of the core values that we live by, and yeah, it's just amazing experience. So if you can find a business partner, that you can trust innately, like
Yeah,
I do them, like it just makes the ride that much more enjoyable.
it is. It's also risky because they're your friends. It's like you don't work with your family, you don't work with your friends. But when you do work with your friends and it works correctly, it's
Hmm.
great. It's fantastic.
Yep, it is.
But there's always a risk.
Yep, right. No, and that's why you got to understand priorities. Like, if making money or like holding steadfast to like one thing, and you're not
Yeah,
willing to negotiate on that, yeah, then you're
mm,
probably going to have problems. But the reality is most decisions you make in business are not catastrophic,
yeah.
and you just do the best job you can every day, and trust one another and lean on one another, and it works out. So
And so you started this right out of college. Like it was like kind of like you didn't try to get the corporate job or anything like that. You're like, guys, want to do
no,
this.
the first company I started, this was before Monkey Island Ventures. So
Okay.
I started that company week after I graduated from college. I never took a business marketing or accounting class in school,
Isn't that
and
fun though? Kind of
yeah,
fly by the seat of your pants.
yeah, I mean, yeah, that is a lot what entrepreneurship is, right? You just kind
Yeah.
of make it up as you go, and um, so I learned a lot about business through the School of Hard Knocks, just doing it. And that first
Mm-hmm.
business I had a little over a decade, and then I sold
Oh
that.
wow.
Yeah,
So you learned through the hard knocks, but you were successful doing it, which is kind of impressive. 'Cause I mean, I know I started Goldstein Media, the main company, the main agency, in 2008. The best time to start a business at the height of a global recession. No
yeah.
one's going to hire you, so you hang your own shingle.
I think that wave is happening again now with
Yeah.
just AI and so many people like losing their jobs, and I think a lot of people are gonna start leaning into doing their own thing. So like whether it's being a fractional and providing services, or whether
Yeah.
you're gonna use AI to actually spin up a product, or use low code, no code, like there's a real big opportunity for people to become, yeah, their own boss.
That's exciting. It's exciting. It's nerve wracking because I mean the ups and downs of entrepreneurship are
For sure.
real.
Yes.
I mean I'm sure you had downturns and upturns and left turns and right turns, all that kind of stuff.
Oh no, there's no question that I mean, really, as an entrepreneur, you're constantly trying to solve problems, right? I
Yeah.
mean, and so yeah, it's incredibly, it can be incredibly stressful, and
Oh,
that's
definitely.
why being kind to yourself and giving yourself some grace, and but working hard, and perseverance, showing up every day, even when you don't want to, you don't feel like it. That's really what pulls you through a lot of stuff, and of course, having other people on your team or business partners going through that is really meaningful. And if you don't have business partners, going to like a peer group or something like that,
Yes.
where you can get some of that stuff off your chest and get some perspectives outside of the fishbowl, is super valuable.
It's fun. It's fun because you started. It said you started Monkey Island Ventures in 2007.
Yeah.
So like literally at the same time I started Goldstein Media, pretty much right at the
Yeah.
best time.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
God.
Yeah, that
Oh
was,
my God. And we're
although
going through weird times now too. So everyone's like
yeah.
sort of like it's kind of what happens. You get out corporate and you're like, all right, I'm going to do my own thing for a little bit.
Right. No,
Bef-
agreed. Yep.
Before you know it, it's like 20 years, and you're like,
Yep.
whoa,
Yeah.
oops, I didn't
Yep.
mean to do that.
No, timing makes a big difference, as well as just
Mm,
staying in the game, right? Just longevity. You'll figure things out, and you'll be able to catch the wins, as they change, as long as you just stay in the game.
I love it, man. I love it. So, what's the best thing in your mind of being an entrepreneur? Because
Um,
you've been one your whole
yeah,
adult life.
I think when people look at entrepreneurship, a lot of times they think business, and they think P&L and balance sheets, and like just
Yeah.
trying to make money. When I look at entrepreneurship, I think of it as a creative endeavor. Like
Love it, man.
when people talk about creativity, they think about music and art and these kinds of things. Well, I mean, if you look at all the things that aren't made by nature, are made by mankind, right? So we
Yeah.
are inventing, we are being creative. That's innate in everyone, and I think entrepreneurship allows you to tap into that, but also in a way that is productive, right? You're
Yeah.
delivering products and services that people want. You're providing employment for your employees. You're hopefully contributing to your community, and
Yeah.
so entrepreneurship just allows for all of those things to really flourish.
I love it, man. I love it. So what keeps you up at night? I mean, like especially in entrepreneurship, there's always something.
Yeah, I think more than anything it's growth. I put a lot of
Yeah.
pressure on myself to continue to grow and to I think I'm much more laser focused now on trying to marry up what I'm working on with the pain and issues that my prospects have, because
Yeah.
that's if you provide a product or service that's a solution to that pain, you're going to have a viable business model, assuming that your pricing is right and all that.
Yeah.
But
There'll
there's
always be
always
strong
nuance
things.
around
Yeah.
it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think more than anything, it's kind of that pressure to keep growing, and that's really a kind of a never ending thing. So sometimes you just got to give yourself a break and just like
Yeah.
no, things don't always happen as fast as you want. Most of the time don't happen as
No.
fast as
Yeah.
you want. But
You
yeah,
blink, you're like, I'm gonna do this. Why is it not happening? And you look, well, I've been doing it for 3 hours. Like, come on, give it a break.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
like 3 days, 3 months, 3 years. I mean, at
Hmm.
3 years, things should stick at that point. But like,
Yep.
or you should pivot a little bit. But yeah,
Yep.
that's what I've always found is that it's an uphill battle, but it's an enjoyable uphill battle for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly in a lot of ways, um, you have control, of your situation, as much as any person can have control.
You more than
Um,
when you're a cog in the wheel.
right. Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
No, that's a huge thing. I remember going to a CEO conference when I was in my early 20s, and I was listening to this one CEO giving a presentation, and he said, he comes into a business when it's around, I think, like $10 million, and then helps it scale to, I can't remember if he said like 50 or 100 million, and then he
Yeah.
helps find a new CEO to help them scale beyond that, because that was kind of his sweet spot. And
Yeah.
but what he talked about entrepreneurship is he said, if you can create a business, he
Mm-hmm.
says, a lot of people look at entrepreneurship um, as being really risky, and certainly there is
There
some
is
risk.
risks.
But
Yeah.
the reality is that if you have a viable model and you have customers, not all of your customers are going to leave in one day. So if you
No.
start to see that your business is declining, well, that gives you a runway to start
Do
making
something
changes,
about it. Yeah.
right? Make changes and kind of right the ship versus,
Yeah.
you go and work for somebody else. You can get hired one day and get fired the next, right? You have
Oh yeah.
no control there.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So everybody that's, listening, that's an aspiring entrepreneur, like get started, like just start doing.
We're gonna take a quick break, hear from our sponsors, and get right back to the show. And I always like to say that there's a difference between fail and failure.
Right.
Failing is even an opportunity to try something different.
Yeah.
Failure is when you give up.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. And I think a lot of, failure and failing, just those were really negative terms when I first got into business. But there's really been a 180 on that,
Yeah,
where
growing
hopefully,
it.
you
Yeah.
talk to any super successful entrepreneur and they say their failures educated them way more than any of their successes, right? So
Oh,
you
absolutely.
gotta,
Yeah.
everybody fails. You just have
Yeah.
to you have to learn from them.
I love it. So, what's the most important thing to carry with you all the time?
What's the most important thing that I carry with me?
Yeah, it can be as metaphysical or as physical as you want to get. Yeah, exactly. This always gets everyone people thinking.
Hmm. Well, there isn't anything really physical that I would say that I carry around. So, um, I would say like hope slash optimism is
Yeah.
probably what I carry around the most. And it doesn't mean that sometimes, it's kind of hidden back in my back pocket and it's not really available. So there's times when I gotta, reach back for it and pull it out and then
Remind yourself.
utilize it.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. Yep. But I think, yeah, I'm a pretty optimistic guy, and
Yeah, you
I
should be.
try to try to lean in on that and try and carry that with me. And of course, if you have it with you, hopefully you're spreading some of that light to other people as well.
I love it, man. I love it. So, best place to find you online? Where do you hang out the most online? If people want to find you and
Mostly,
interact with you,
yeah, like LinkedIn. I'm the only Colin Hirdman out there. And then,
Lucky
yeah,
Duck.
yeah,
'Cause
yeah, Monkey Island Ventures .com or rainmakergrows.com. You can contact me there too. So, but
that's pretty wild, man. I
yeah.
love it. I love when people think outside the box, especially with like prefab social networks. If they think outside the box and figure something out that's new and innovative. Because
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people are like, well, LinkedIn's just a water cooler. It can be so much more than that.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah. No, I think, yeah, for me, I'm not a huge social network guy, but
Yeah.
I think I like LinkedIn the best just because it's connecting me with,
Hmm.
people that I've met through the business world.
It's purpose
LinkedIn's,
driven. Yeah.
yeah, and LinkedIn's a really, pretty optimistic place. It's not really toxic like a lot of the other
Yeah.
social networks out there, and you can actually drive revenue and build your business through
Yeah.
LinkedIn.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, Colin, thank you so much for being on the show.
Oh, happy to be here. Thanks so much, Seth.
I told you it
Appreciate
was
it.
a quick show, but it's like a small
Yeah.
commute. People can get from door to door,
Yeah.
get the groceries done in 15 minutes, and it's a good way to do things. So
Yeah. No, I love it.
awesome, buddy. And we'll see everyone next week.
That was a great show. If you're enjoying Entrepreneur's Enigma, please consider giving us a review in the podcast directory of your choice. Every review helps us reach new listeners. If you like Entrepreneur's Enigma, consider the other shows on the Marketing Podcast Network at marketingpodcast.net.